All right, everyone, so this is how a session might go if the Lone Ranger, John Reed, was treating a client that had major depressive disorder. So the therapist would be John Reed, and let's say the client is Sarah, age 32. So the session begins. Sarah is seated, looking down, picking at a loose thread on her sleeve. John Reed sits across from her, his posture steady and attentive. John Reed: "Good afternoon, Sarah. Thank you for coming in." Sarah, muttering, "Yeah, good afternoon." John Reed: "You mentioned feeling a heavy burden lately, a weight almost. Can you tell me more about that weight? What does it feel like?" Sarah: "It's everything. Just getting out of bed feels like I'm pushing against something invisible. The mornings are the worst. It's like the world is just too bright, too loud, and by the time I get to work, I just want to go home. Nothing feels good anymore. Things I used to enjoy, they just feel empty." John Reed: "Empty, like a well gone dry. And how long has this well been dry, Sarah?" Sarah: "Weeks, months, maybe. It's hard to say. It sort of crept up on me. One day I was fine, the next not. And it's not like anything specific happened. That's what makes it worse. I feel like I have no right to feel this way." John Reed, nodding slowly: "Feeling like you have no right to your own pain can be an added burden. It's a common fallacy, believing our struggles must have a clear, dramatic cause. Sometimes the dust simply settles and obscures the path. Tell me what's one thing, no matter how small, that you can recall finding a glimmer of peace in before this dust settled." Sarah pauses, thinking, "Well, I used to love gardening, just getting my hands in the dirt, watching things grow, but even that, the thought of it just feels exhausting now. It's like I just watch the plants wither." John Reed: "Gardening, a connection to life, growth, and now the effort feels too great. That's understandable. When the spirit is weary, even the simplest tasks can seem like climbing a mountain. We won't ask you to climb that mountain today, but what if we considered a single seed? Not the whole garden, just one seed." Sarah looks up, slightly confused. "A seed?" John Reed: "Yes, a very small action, an intention. You mentioned the mornings are the hardest. Is there anything, however brief, you can do in the morning that might acknowledge that love for growth, even without the effort of a full garden? Perhaps looking at a picture of a flower you once grew, or simply stepping outside for 1 minute to feel the morning air, even if it feels too bright." Sarah frowns, and then a hint of a thought. "I suppose I could try to look at that picture of my roses on my phone. It's still there." John Reed: "A good start. A small, deliberate action can bring to shift the tide. It's not about conquering the entire darkness at once, but finding a single spark. We'll call this your morning spark. Think of it as tending to that one seed. Will you commit to that, Sarah? Just that one spark each morning for the next few days?" Sarah hesitantly: "Well, I can try to do that." John Reed: "Good. Trying is the first step on any trail. Now, you also mentioned feeling nothing good anymore. When you consider your days, do you notice any patterns? Times or situations when the weight feels slightly less heavy, even for a moment?" Sarah: "Not really. Maybe when I'm completely distracted. If I'm watching something on TV, sometimes I forget for a bit, but then it just comes back." John Reed: "Distraction can offer a brief respite, like finding shelter from a storm. But the storm returns. We want to build an inner shelter that remains. We've spoken about the morning spark. Let's consider another element for your day. What is one small, deliberate thing you could do each day that might bring you a sliver of genuine, quiet comfort? Not a distraction, but something that genuinely soothes you even for a moment. Perhaps a specific cup of tea or listening to a favorite piece of music. Not just as background noise, but truly listening." Sarah, thinking hard: "My grandmother used to make this chamomile tea. I haven't had it in ages. I have some in the cupboard." John Reed: "Chamomile tea. A connection to comfort, to memory. That sounds like a worthy pursuit. Could you commit to making yourself a cup of tea each evening, deliberately, and simply experiencing it without judgment or expectation?" Sarah: "I guess so. Yeah, I could do that." John Reed: "Excellent. So for this coming week, our focus will be on two small, deliberate actions: your morning spark with a rose photo, and your evening comfort with a chamomile tea. These are small actions, but they are yours. They are a step towards tending your own spirit. We're not expecting a full harvest in a week, but we are planting the seeds. How does that sound as a plan for us to begin?" Sarah, a faint nod, a little bit more engaged. "It sounds manageable, like something I might actually be able to do." John Reed: "Good. Remember, Sarah, true strength is not in the never falling, but in rising each time you fall. We'll be working to help you find that strength within yourself, to clear the dust from your path. We'll meet again next week to see how these seeds have fared. Sarah, okay, thank you, Mr. Reed. John Reed, you're welcome, Sarah. Hi-yo Silver, away. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts about how the Lone Ranger might actually structure and conduct a session using his techniques? Let me know in the comments, and I'll speak to you next time.